In this exercise, we are going to discover 3D in After Effects, and we will be creating this animation. I go to After Effects, New Composition, the same settings, OK. Right click, Import, File. I go to Exercise 42, and I'm going to bring all the elements. Click on Import. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring the sky image, drag and drop like this. Now we have the image right here. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna make this image, this layer 3D. To do that, I go here. We have 3D layer, allows this layer to be manipulated in 3 dimensions. If you don't see this, of course, you can always click here, toggle switches / modes to switch like this until you see this 3D layer. I go here and I click, and just like that, I made this layer 3D. Now we see this thing that we call gizmo. It allows us to move the layer on the X axis, on the Y axis, and also the Z axis, like this. We can also rotate on the Z axis, on the Y axis, and on the X axis. As you see, Control Z to go back. We can change these values by using the gizmo, or we can toggle this down, transform, toggle this down, and we see here we have position, we have X, Y, and the new value, which is Z value, X, Y, Z for the position, and same thing for the rotation, X, Y, Z. If I deactivate it by clicking here, now we only see the X and Y value for the position. I activate 3D one more time, and now we see 3 values. Of course, we can change them from here, like this. Same thing for the rotation. Just change the values from here. Control Z to go back, like this. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna bring the next layer. I'm gonna toggle this up. I'm gonna bring the next layer, which is grass. This one. I'm gonna drag and drop like this. Right now, this layer is not 3D. I'm gonna make it 3D by clicking here. Now I made it 3D. And here's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna rotate on the X value. I can use that by using the gizmo, like this. Or I go to transform, I go to X rotation, and I'm gonna type -90, like this. And I'm gonna take it down using the gizmo. I take the layer down like this, as you see. Now I'm gonna come here. Here we have one view. I'm gonna switch this to 2 views. Now we have 2 views. We have the active camera. This is how the video is gonna look like. And we have top. This is the view from the top. I'm gonna select the sky, and I'm gonna move it from here, from the second view, the top view. I move it on the Z axis like this. I put it right here. I put it behind the layer of the grass, right here. I take it all the way here. Here we have 2 views. I can even choose 4 views. And now we see the same composition from different angles. I'm gonna go back to 2 views. Here we have active camera, how the video is gonna look like. And here we have top. We can change this Here we have top. I can choose left. I see how it's looking from the left. I can choose right. I can choose custom view 1, custom view 2, another angle, custom view 3. But for now, I'm gonna go back to top. Like this. We have the sky right here, but we see there's a dark area here. We don't want that. To solve this problem, I'm gonna scale it up. I go to scale. I'm gonna go to sky. I go to scale and I'm gonna try 130. Press enter. Now it goes beyond the composition. This is what we want. It's big enough. Same thing for the grass layer. I can select it from here or from here or from here. Same thing. I open this and I'm gonna increase the scale. I'm gonna type 140 like this, and I think this is big enough. If I zoom out, we see this is very big. This is what we want. I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna click here, draft 3D, and just like that we see all the elements even beyond the composition here. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. I click on this view, draft 3D, draft 3D, and now I see all the elements even beyond this rectangle. I see it on its entirety. Make sure this is activated, 3D ground plane, and this also, extended viewer. This is what we want. I'm gonna click and maintain. Here we can change the opacity like this. I'm gonna set this to 70%, like this, 70%. I'm gonna come here, same thing. I activate this. I'm gonna change it to 70%. This is a good view. And now I'm gonna bring the other elements. Next element I'm gonna bring is the clouds. I drag and drop here, drag and drop. I make it 3D like this. I'm gonna go to this view, select the clouds. We have the clouds here. I'm gonna move on the Z value and I put it in front of the sky. The sky is right here and the clouds right here. I put the clouds above. If I go beyond the sky, now we don't see the clouds anymore. So I'll make sure I place the clouds right here, just above the sky, in front of the sky. I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna change the scale. I open this. I'm gonna scale it up to, I think 120 is enough. I move it on the Y value, on the Y axis. I place it right here. Now I'm gonna bring the hills. I drag and drop here. I'm gonna make this layer 3D as well. I'm gonna place it above the clouds right here. I'm gonna come here and zoom. I'm gonna move this on the Y value. Make sure it touches the grass, as you see, but don't go too far like this. Don't bury it under. Just, I think this level is good. I'm gonna scale it up. This is too small. I'm gonna scale it up to, I'm gonna type 150. I'm gonna move on the Y value like this. I'm gonna keep it right here. I think this is a good position. maybe up a little bit, like this. Of course, make sure it's in front of the sky and the clouds. If you go too far, it's gonna hide. You won't see it. Control Z. I go back. Here the positioning is very important. Next, I'm gonna bring the trees, drag and drop like this. I'm gonna make this layer 3D. And I'm gonna make it rotate. I can do this. I rotate it on the Y value until I reach -45. And I'm gonna take it a little bit to the left. And I'm gonna take it down. Gonna make sure the trees are a little bit under the grass, like this. I'm gonna move it a little bit to the left, like this, using the gizmo. Now I'm gonna duplicate the trees. Control D. I duplicate. I take the copy from here to here. It's selected. The copy is selected here. I'm gonna take it right here. And I'm gonna rotate like this. We can use the gizmo to rotate. We have the copy here. We can use the gizmo, or we can type values. We can change the orientation or the X rotation. It's the same thing. Right now, I'm gonna change the Y rotation. I'm gonna type 45. This is exactly what we want, 45 degrees. And I'm gonna move it a little bit to the right, like this. I think they are placed correctly. Gonna click on fit here, make it fit the window. I think this looks good. Now I'm gonna bring the cow. I select the cow and drag and drop like this. I'm gonna make it 3D. And of course, it needs to be in front of the trees. This is very important. I can't put it behind the trees like this. I have to move it on the Z value. Here. Gonna move it a little bit to the left. And a little bit up. Like this. Gonna click on fit, see how it looks. I can even go back to one view, like this. I think this looks good. Go back to two views, like this. We have the cow right here. Now I'm gonna bring the flowers, drag and drop. I bring the flowers, I make the layer 3D. Gonna toggle this up. I make the layer 3D, I put it all the way in the front, like this. Gonna zoom here and place it right here. I'm gonna take it a little bit back, like this. And I want it to touch the grass, like this. Now I think it's placed correctly. The flower is there. I don't need to scale it up. I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna leave it like this, and now I'm gonna bring the text layer, this one, drag and drop like this. I'll make it 3D, and I'm gonna place it between the cow and the flowers. It needs to be behind the flowers, is very important. And I think I'm gonna scale it down. I need to scale it down a little bit. Transform, I go to scale. I'm gonna make it smaller. I think 70 is big enough. I'm gonna place it in the middle like this. I'm gonna go back to one view, see how this looks. I think it looks good. I'm gonna take it up a little bit. No, Control Z, I have to select the text. Take it up a little bit, like this. But I want it to be a little bit covered by the plants and the flowers. I think this looks good. Gonna take it a little bit to the right, like this. And now all the elements are placed correctly. I'm gonna hide the text for now. And I'm gonna start by animating the clouds. Go back to two views. Go back to two views like this. I'm gonna select the clouds. Select. Press P. Bring the position. I'm gonna move this to the left, like this. I'm gonna click on the stopwatch. Of course, make sure the playhead is at 0 seconds. Clouds placed right here. I click on the stopwatch. I go all the way to the end of the timeline at 10 seconds, and then I'm gonna move it right here. I move the clouds right here. And now if I play, we see the clouds moving. I play. And this is the result we wanted. I think I'm gonna scale it up a little bit. Let's try 130. Let's play now. I think this looks better. Now we are done with the animation of the clouds. I'm gonna animate the cow. Toggle this up. I'm gonna select the cow. Press P to bring the position. And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the cow from here. Right now it's in front of this tree. I'm gonna take it from here to here. I'm gonna make it hide behind this tree. I'm gonna go to 3 seconds. I go to 3 seconds. I'm gonna click on fit here. Click fit. I go to 3 seconds. I click on the stopwatch of the position at 3 seconds, and after 3 seconds, at 6 seconds, I'm gonna take the cow from here to here. I'll make sure it's hidden behind this tree, like this. Yes, I think it's placed correctly. And now you see how it's moving. I'm gonna click on fit and see how the cow is moving. I think this looks good, but we can make it even better. The starting position is correct, the ending position is correct, but there's a small problem here. When you start touching the trees, I don't think this looks good. I'm gonna solve this problem by modifying the motion path. Position selected. Here we have the motion path. It goes from here to here. I'm gonna go to this handle and I'm gonna move it a little bit like this. I curve it a little bit using this handle. And now let's play, see how it moves. Now we no longer have the problem. We see it goes straight behind the tree. This is exactly what we wanted. I think this looks good. I'm gonna play it one more time, go back to one view. I play. I think this looks good. I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm gonna add a blur, motion blur, by clicking here. And now let's play. I think this looks better. I'm gonna go back to two views, and the last thing I'm gonna animate is the text. I bring it back, I make it visible like this. I select it, I'm gonna toggle this up. I bring the text. I'm gonna go to 8 seconds. I'm gonna press P to bring the position and Shift R to bring the rotation as well. And I'm gonna create a keyframe on this axis, the X rotation, like this. I go back to 7 seconds and I'm gonna change the rotation to -90, like this. Now we have this animation. I think this looks good. Now I'm gonna change the position a little bit. I want it to be down on the same level as the flowers, and then go up and rotate like this. That's how I want the text to reveal. So at 8 seconds, I click on the stopwatch of the position. I go back to 7 seconds and I'm gonna move the text on the Y value like this. I want it to be under, like this, under the flowers. We see it is visible on the top view here, but it's not visible in the active camera view. And now if we play, I think this looks good. I'm gonna go back to one view like this. I select fit. Now I'm gonna play the entire animation. And now the exercise is finished. You go do the same and don't forget to save.